We ain't cutting no grass. Listen, man, I don't think y'all know this, bro. If anybody got anything to say about the big homie, because I'm on him.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway.
From the very beginning, it was clear Wack100 and Big U weren't cool like that, but things just exploded lately. Rumors started spreading heavy that Wack100 had been talking to the feds, straight up being called a snitch. And let's be real, Big U's camp isn't just brushing that off. Nah, they're moving like they want payback. Now folks are asking, why are Big U's hitters really out looking for Wack100? Truth is, this drama ain't even fresh anymore.
Music executive and alleged LA gang leader Eugene Henley Jr. is heading to trial. Last month, he was named in a 43-county federal indictment.
Everybody and their cousin knows about the tension between Big U and the Rolling 60s, especially after that major bust, where more than a dozen members got scooped up by the feds on some next-level charges. We're talking murder, extortion, the whole illegal buffet laid out like a menu from hell. And honestly, even before the feds came knocking, the vibe between Wack100, Big U, and the Rolling 60s was already straight poison. This beef been bubbling like a pot waiting to spill over. If you go back a bit, the real falling out between Wack and Big U popped off around 21. Word is, it had something to do with some business moves that didn't work out. Whatever went down, it ended with serious heat. Wack even got confronted by some dudes from the crew, and some are saying he got jumped. To keep it real, Wack did try to squash the beef the next year. He was sending out apologies to Big U and his circle, trying to smooth things over. But by that time, that ship was long gone. Big U wasn't trying to hear none of it. He hopped on social media and started blasting the whole situation for everybody to see. And that's when Wack100 went off the rails. He went on a straight rampage, throwing out all kinds of crazy claims, jumping on Clubhouse every 5 minutes, doing interviews, linking up with anybody who had beef with Big U. It was like he made it his mission to tear down dude's name every chance he got. One interview that really had people talking was when he sat down with Adam 22 on No Jumper, somewhere around 2022 or 2023.
There's news that broke out that said that Big U was, might have been involved in your son's murder. I mean, do you believe he's responsible?
I know for a fact he's responsible.
And the way he was talking, folks were looking at him sideways like, is he working with the feds for real? He was dropping slick little clues, hinting that the feds were zeroing in on Big U. And not too long after that, boom, the whole situation started to look real suspicious. But Wack wasn't finished. Nah, he kept it pushing. Even popped up on Vlad TV throwing out more wild claims. Not everything made the final cut, though. Vlad said he held back to avoid messing up his connection with Big U. And that alone got Wack's people raising eyebrows. They started whispering that maybe Big U told Vlad to fall back and keep things under wraps. Now the streets are loud again. Everybody's talking. Word on the street is Big U and the Rolling 60s might be plotting to silence Wack100 for good. And let's be real, that theory ain't exactly far-fetched, especially if the rumors are true that Wack been leaking info to the cops this whole time. Folks even whispering that he got named in the indictment under some mystery alias.
So the era I grew up in, you kind of had to put your unique ambition to the back. There was a culture around here that it was very aggressive and it was real stingy, just the gang culture.
Now here's the kicker. Big U ain't the type to bark without biting. When he says something's about to go down, chances are it's already in motion. So yeah, Wack could be staring down another serious face-off with the 60s. And this time, it might hit way different, way harder. People might be thinking Big U's got bigger problems on his plate with all the legal heat he's catching. But let's not act brand new. This ain't Big U's first trip through the system. Back in the 80s, dude got slapped with a 22-year sentence for gang-related charges. Served 13, came out still respected. Even inside, he was moving like a boss, calling plays, pushing weight, making moves like the walls didn't mean nothing. No fear, no regrets, just Big U doing what he does. Now, things are heating up again, and it's looking even wilder.
Everybody know Big U and Nipsey had an argument, homie. Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hustle down, making him pay protection fee, sort of. Nipsey Hustle got smart and say, I don't want to pay you $20,000 a month no more.
Big U staring down a fresh murder charge, and that's only the surface. The whispers are getting louder, and it's not just one name in the mix anymore. People already been throwing side eyes at his past links to Rayon, Williams, and Nipsey, but now there's even chatter that Big U might have had some connection to PNB Rock's death too. When you really start connecting the dots, there's one thing that keeps popping up. Every single dude who got caught up had something in common. They either disrespected Big U or refused to play by his rules. Let's talk about Rayon. This wasn't just some random up-and-coming rapper. He was signed to Big U's own label, Unique Music, and was tight with Big U's son, Dion Henley. So yeah, he was part of the inner circle. Big U personally arranged a full-blown trip to Vegas for him. Flights, Airbnb, studio time, all of it. The whole plan was locked in. One song a day, stay focused, stay working. But the moment Rayon touched down in Vegas on January 19th, things started sliding left. Instead of sticking to the schedule, he skipped sessions and told one of Big U's people he'd make it up by doubling the work the next day. But guess what? He didn't show up to grind. Instead, on the 20th, Rayon went and recorded a diss track. And according to what police say, that track was a straight-up shot at Big U. In the track, he allegedly said, "I just want the dope. What I'm worried about doing all that talking, he's clout. So I'm gonna pull up to his crib." Once word of that track circled back to Big U, all hell broke loose. Between the disrespect and the wasted cash on that Vegas trip, the mood turned ugly, fast. Then came January 23rd. Just 2 days later, Big U and his guy Sylvester allegedly made that late-night ride from LA straight to Vegas. They touched down around 2 a.m. on January 24th. That same night, Big U pulled up to the Airbnb where Rayon was staying. No cameras, no noise, just a straight confrontation. He pressed Rayon about skipping studio time. And what did Rayon say? He told Big U he didn't have a ride. A friend was right there during the convo between Big U and Rayon. So now, it wasn't just a private little talk.
And even the police too, is nowadays niggas be listening to the social media and all the shit, you know, because when Nip like passed away, automatically Big U did it or had something to do it or did this, did it. And niggas just be like, social media, the investigator, and now they come to your house like, hey, what's the deal, bro? You know what I'm saying? You did it.
Things seemed calm until later that night. Around 9 p.m., Big U pulled up to the studio. Then Rayon showed up around 11 p.m., laid down a couple tracks, and bounced by midnight. Big U dipped not long after, about 12:37 a.m. That's when things started to get real sketchy. The same gray sedan that Big U and Sylvester drove into Vegas? Gone, just like that, and even weirder. Big U's phone stopped pinging any location data while he was near the studio. Then at 1:13 a.m., that same gray sedan popped up on surveillance outside Rayon's Airbnb. He came out with a suitcase, tossed it in the trunk, and hopped into the car. That right there was the last time anybody saw him alive. Now here's the thing. His Airbnb was still booked for another night, and his flight wasn't until later. So him just bouncing like that with no warning, that wasn't like him. Something was way off. After that, both of Big U's phones went completely dark until 2:15 a.m. And by 2:30 a.m., guess who's back at the studio alone? Yup, Big U, still in that gray sedan, sweating like he'd just run a mile in a hoodie. When the security guard asked what was up, Big U said he'd just come from the gym, but that story didn't sit right. By 9 a.m. that same morning, Rayon's body was discovered in a ditch off Interstate 15, shot multiple times and dragged to the spot. Cold. And it gets deeper. Location data shows Big U left Vegas around 10 a.m. Cops collected DNA from Rayon's ankle, and while it didn't exactly match Big U, it sure didn't clear him either. It left the whole case wide open. And just when you thought it couldn't get any shadier, it did. Days after Rayon's murder, Big U had the studio equipment cleared out like he was trying to erase any trace. And somehow, like magic, all the surveillance footage that could have shown what really went down, gone.
But other dudes do got to. And I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just imagine this though. If another crew pull up in you guys' area and they ain't checked in with none of y'all, you gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah, 100%.
Wiped clean like it never existed. To make it even more suspicious, word is Big U had the security guard step away from his post right when everything was supposedly going down. Real convenient timing, right? Investigators strongly believe that missing footage might have captured a heated altercation between Big U and Rayon on the night of January 24th. But now, we'll probably never know what those cameras really caught. Then came January 27th. Just a few days after Rayon was found dead, his aunt reached out and gave Big U a call. She'd just heard the heartbreaking news and wanted to know what happened. Big U told her he hadn't seen or heard from Rayon. But here's where it gets weird. She told investigators that Big U used to call her every week, no miss. Then boom, after that call, she never heard from him again. Dead silence. And here's the wildest part. Everyone close to Rayon, from his family to his friends, and even folks in the music game, they all pointed in the same direction. In their eyes, there's zero confusion. They believe Big U had something to do with what happened to Rayon. And then there's Nipsey Hustle. Yeah, that one still stings. Nipsey wasn't just another rapper. He was a movement, a leader, a man who walked the talk. He didn't just speak on building the community, he built it for real. Nipsey was different. He wasn't just spitting bars, he was building something real. He opened up businesses, gave folks legit jobs, and showed his people what ownership really looked like. He wasn't trying to run from the streets, he was out here trying to transform them. What cuts deep about his death is that he was actually making moves to change things. Just one day before he got killed, he had a sit-down scheduled with the LAPD and Rock Nation to talk real solutions. Gang violence, community outreach, bridging the streets with the system. It wasn't just talk, it was action. But that meeting never went down. The very next day, tragedy hit. And when it did, the whole city lit up. Quiet whispers turned into full-blown street chatter. And before long, fingers started pointing. And one name kept getting tossed around heavy. Eugene Big U Henley. And nah, this wasn't some brand new beef. This tension had been brewing for years. Go back to 2011, and things were already ugly. That year, there was a situation near Crenshaw and Slauson involving Nipsey, Big U, and the LAPD. Witnesses say it went down in the alley behind the Shell gas station in Hyde Park. Nipsey and Big U got into it. Words were flying, then fists. It turned physical. Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, pulled a strap. Not to shoot anyone, just to pop one in the air. Maybe to calm the chaos or clear the crowd. But right then, a cop rolled up, spotted the gun, and let off a shot at Black Sam.
They don't really f with us until it's a problem. Then they call him. Like Quando Rondo. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't f with me before that.
Missed him, but the whole scene went into instant chaos. That one incident told everybody what it really was. Nipsey and Big U weren't seeing eye to eye. Rumors started spreading fast, like wildfire in the wind. Word was that Nipsey and Big U had a major fallout over money. Some said Nipsey felt like Big U was trying to shake him down, extortion style, and Nipsey wasn't having none of that. After that came the diss track, and from that point on, the bridge was torched, no turning back. Big U wasn't playing nice after that. Anytime he had a window to apply pressure, he took it. Stories started circulating that he even sent people to press Nipsey while DJ Khaled was visiting their hood. That wasn't just beef. It was full-on tension with people watching every move. Then Nipsey was gunned down by Eric Holder, a known Rollin' 60s member. And yeah, that set the streets off all over again. People started talking heavy, saying maybe Big U had more to do with Nipsey's death than anybody originally thought. Some even claimed he called the hit. Now switch gears, let's talk about PNB Rock. Before jumping into that, you gotta understand one thing. When it comes to this whole checking in culture, Big U's name always rings bells. He's not just a major figure in the Rollin' 60s, he's been loud about making sure rappers check in when they touch down in certain cities. He said it in interviews, podcasts, everywhere. And the way he says it, some folks call it warning, but others say it sounds a lot like a threat. There's even footage where Big U gives these subtle, low-key warnings about what might happen if someone skips that check-in step. Now people are looking back at everything. Robberies, beatdowns, even tragic deaths of rappers who didn't check in. When PNB Rock was shot and killed during a robbery in LA, the streets immediately lit up with talk. Rumors started flying that Big U might have had something to do with it. And when he got asked straight up about the situation in an interview, he didn't exactly shut it down. Instead of clearing the air, Big U started talking about how he always checks in when he hits different cities. basically throwing shade like PNB Rock should have followed that same unwritten street rule. Then there's the Quando Rondo situation. That wasn't a one-off either. In another interview, especially the one where he talked about Quando, Big U kind of let something slip. He brought up the Lil Durk and Quando drama and made it real clear that Quando didn't check in with him before the shooting went down. And in their world, that's a major violation. He low-key hinted that he might have known something was about to pop off, but didn't do anything to stop it. Now, some folks are saying Big U basically outed himself on camera, like he was admitting to extortion without even realizing it. That clip alone added more gas to a fire that's already burning out of control. But it doesn't stop there. Now he's knee-deep in fresh legal trouble. After years of quiet investigations, the feds dropped the hammer, claiming Big U, real name Eugene Henley, was running a whole scam play. They say he conned businesses, athletes, and even celebs like Draymond Green and Shaq into donating to his nonprofit. Only problem? That money wasn't going to the streets. It was allegedly going straight into his own pockets. And it gets deeper. Authorities say Henley also pocketed big money from the LA mayor's GRYD program through his nonprofit, Developing Options.
You know, we in LA, when I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
Over 5 years, he reportedly raked in over $2.3 million, and he wasn't flying solo. 18 other people got named too, including Mark Martin, AKA Bear Claw, Sylvester Robinson, better known in the streets as Vay, and rapper Tremaine Williams, AKA Loose Cannon, are both tangled up in this mess too. Loose Cannon even admitted to hitting a dispensary lick right on the No Jumper podcast. But here's the twist. That episode mysteriously vanished after a cease and desist came flying in. Sketchy doesn't even begin to describe it. But wait, it gets darker. Henley's also being accused of paying a woman $1,000 to traffic 3 people into Vegas. Yeah, you read that right. Human trafficking allegations are now on the table. This whole thing is spiraling fast and turning into one of the biggest gang crackdowns we've seen in years. Before he turned himself in, Big U even hopped on Instagram Live talking wild. He claimed the feds were locking up people he barely even knew. What they gonna say next? He asked, looking dead into the camera. You're ruining people's lives. Now the heat is on, and one thing's crystal clear. Wack100 might have messed with the wrong one. If even a piece of these charges hold up, it could bounce back and destroy him in ways he never saw coming. This isn't just about street drama anymore. It's about power, politics, and who's really pulling the strings. The stakes are higher than ever. So don't just scroll past this, tap in. Like the video, drop a comment. What do you think is really going on? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more real talk and raw updates.